host our own little award show. You've seen all you need to see, right?
We're ready.
You're ready?
You might need 2 more games to make a final decision, though.
That's
Just
fair.
to get us to the end of the year.
But you guys brought your suits. I'm in a dress. So we're going to hand out some awards tonight, shall we?
It's very formal.
Start with the Defensive Player of the Year. I know, it is formal because you have on real shoes instead of the sometimes sneakers that we wear underneath the desk. So let's go with the Defensive Player of the Year first and foremost, Stu.
Yeah, for me, it's Draymond Green. I mean, for a number of reasons, both statistically and just as a matter of, the eye test. I mean, he guards every position in the league. He can guard 1 through 5. He's the best defensive player on the best team in the league. His defensive rating is the best of any player in the league, playing over 30 minutes a game at 99.2. The next closest player might be the second in the voting if you were going to vote, and that is Gobert. So, hands down to me, he's a defensive stopper, best defensive player, best team, Draymond Green.
And, Coach, this is a highly debatable conversation, I believe. Do you agree with the Draymond Green pick?
Well, he mentioned 2 of the 3 candidates that I had. Gobert, because Utah's team defense has been so good all year, keeping the defensive field goal percentage down of their opponents. Probably should consider one more name in there. That's Kawhi Leonard, if we're looking at 3 of them. But I will agree with you on this one, that Draymond Green is a Defensive Player of the Year.
He's not in a debating mood. We got to get him going here.
Exactly.
It's a warm-up.
He's like, I'm in my suit. I've got my tie on. I'm not in the mood to argue. How about the 6th Man of the Year? Let's see if we can get a little debate going this time.
Well, for me, it's Eric Gordon. I mean, Eric Gordon, 16.4 points per game. He's shooting 37.7 from 3, taking almost 9 a game. He's played 73 games this season, which is the most of his career since his rookie year. So he's been productive that way. He's taken the most threes he's ever taken in his career and played 31 minutes on a team that finished 3rd in the West. When you look at him come off the bench, he's a career starter playing against second-line players. He's just been terrific.
And beat Kyrie Irving in a 3-point contest. Did that weigh into your decision-making at all?
Not at all.
Not at all. What about you, Coach? 6th man.
Had his name down on my list as one of my candidates. Will Barton was a candidate also in Denver. He's almost averaged 14 points for them with that second unit, then playing a lot with the first group. So I thought he's done a great job for Denver, keeping him in that playoff hunt. However, having said that, I'm going to Boston, and I'm going to look at Mr. Smart up there, and I feel he could be the 6th man of the year. Because remember, with Avery Bradley missing games this year, they had to elevate him up to the first unit. He did a very good job at times taking over the point. Besides playing the off guard, he gives them great toughness at the defensive end, and he's gotten better, at least more confident in shooting his perimeter shot, because his head coach is telling him, if you're open, you have to shoot it, and he's done that. I'm going to go with Smart.
How about the Rookie of the Year?
Now, this one will probably be a highly contested debate here, but I have to go with Malcolm Brogdon of the Milwaukee Bucks. And I'm going with Brogdon, even though he's never received the Rookie of the Month award this NBA season. But to me, he's been the most consistent rookie. On top of that, he's the only rookie in the top 15 in scoring with a team with a winning record, and one of 2 rookies that actually has a positive plus-minus, averaging 10 points a game, shooting 45.7 from the field, 40.4 from 3, and he led all rookies in assists and steals. To me, he's my Rookie of the Year, even though he's a 2nd-round pick.
And he also asked the Milwaukee Bucks, in lieu of a campaign for his Rookie of the Year award, to donate that money to charity. And here we are talking about him anyway.
So he has social responsibility. I mean, that seals it for me.
Coach?
Well, the fortunate thing is for the other candidates that Joel Embiid wound up getting injured, because it was clear-cut in my mind he was going to be the Rookie of the Year from the 76ers. And they waited, and the process turned out, and he is a terrific prospect for them. Hopefully he remains healthy. But having said that, I'm going to go a little bit different direction than you. I think a teammate of Embiid, Dario Saric, should be the Rookie of the Year. He's really played outstanding basketball down the stretch here. And we've seen Philly win some games because of this youngster's ability to play both inside and outside at his size.
And why not give him the honors on his 23rd birthday, right?
Sounds good to me.
Got to give these guys an edge somewhere, right? How about the most improved player of this season?
Well, the most improved player to me gave us a prelude tonight in a key game, and it's James Johnson with the Miami Heat. Okay, tonight he ends up with 15 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists in a very key game. But this year, James has had his career high in both points, rebounds, and assists. And on the other side of the ball, let me tell you, this guy brings it defensively. So he's been a real factor in the Miami Heat, who could have been one of the true stories in the NBA had Waiters not gotten hurt. But it's the only time in his career that he's averaged double figures. And to me, he is deserving of the most improved player.
Okay, so career highs in every major statistical category. Coach, are you agreeing?
Well, I had some other people that I was considering along the way. Jabari Parker may have been up there if he didn't get hurt up in Milwaukee because he's had a terrific year. The guy that I really had a tough time choosing between, Harrison Barnes, shows up and does a great job in Dallas this year. But James Johnson, to me, is the choice because Miami, he's a different guy in Miami. We see him doing things that we never saw him do before, posting up, start the offense from his post-ups. He can distribute, off the dribble, beating people to create shots for his teammates. He's had a great season.
How about the guys, though, that have to build these teams from the ground up, the executive of the year? Who's it for you, Stu?
Yeah, flat out for me, it was Daryl Morey. I mean, he's just done a terrific job, and he's really covered all facets of work as a general manager. I mean, just look at who he signed this year. He signs Harden to an extension, signs Eric Gordon, signs Ryan Anderson, signs Nene, and then if that's not enough, he hires Mike D'Antoni and then acquires Lou Williams late in the season. It's the league's best offensive team. It's the type of culture, style of play that he wants to play. He's accomplished his objective by some shrewd moves. And listen, it may turn into a Western Conference championship. Who knows?
A surprising level of success for that roster this season. Are you agreeing, Coach?
I agree with the fact that he definitely has to be in consideration with the job that he's done there. But how about Dave Griffin in Cleveland, for example? He goes out and, starting with Korver, then adds 4 more pieces. In fact, 1 piece to replace a piece. Bogut goes down there after he gets him, so they bring in Sanders to try and replace him there. So he did a terrific job. Then R.C. Buford, replacing the parts that they lost in San Antonio. Find some pieces out there. David Lee, Pau Gasol, not bad. However, having said that, I'm going to the West Coast, to Bob Myers and Golden State. When they lost those 6 players at the end of the season, I said, I don't know. But he did catch the big kahuna, and that was Kevin Durant. That's one. And then he's added some terrific pieces. West along the way. He takes a chance on McGee, and he winds up paying dividends for him. Pachulia, he's done a great job. This team's 65 wins going into tonight.
So how about the guy that has to coach at the helm of this thing? Do you give it to Steve Kerr? I'll go with Stu first, Coach of the Year.
That's a good place to go with Stu, because I do believe it is Steve Kerr. I mean, this season, to me, vastly different than their sort of joyous ride that they had last season. This season, Steve Kerr had to really navigate some tough waters. To start off the season, he loses his front court players with Bogut and Spates and Azili, and if that's not enough, he loses Barbosa as well as Barnes. So it's a total revamp of the team. Then they go through a very difficult stretch at the end of February, all right, heading into March, where they lose 5 out of 7. Everybody thinks the sky is falling. He pulls them out of that. If that's not enough, again, Durant losing him for 19 games, he's had to navigate through those waters, and they still end up with 65 wins so far this season. They're first in the league in offense, second in defense. He's my Coach of the Year.
What about you, Coach?
Steve Kerr did an unbelievable job. Kudos to you, Steve. Unfortunately, he picked you already. So having said that, okay, I'm going to mention a few other guys. Quinn Snyder's done a great job. Spoelstra tonight winning the game. They still hang in there in the race. Brad Stevens up in Boston's done a terrific job. You got to go down to Houston and look at Mike D'Antoni and the job he's done. I'm going to go with D'Antoni because he changed a lot of things down there. They changed the culture of the team, how they play. He has a style he wanted. His GM went out and got him players that fit that style, and they've won an awful lot of basketball games in the Western Conference.
And he, the guy that gave James Harden the reins to now be in that MVP conversation, and what I'm hoping is going to be the liveliest debate of this entire conversation and makeshift award show that we're hosting here at NBA TV. Stu, who is your MVP this season?
This is not makeshift. This award show is more important than the media's pick.
Top
Let's
level.
be clear about that.
Top notch.
But I agree with you. There's a huge debate here, and to me, there are 4 players involved when you talk about the likes of LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook, who I saved the best for last. he is my season's MVP. And listen, I recognize that you can go different ways with the MVP vote. Is it the best player in the league? Is it the most complete player in the league? Is it the best player on the best team? Or is it a player like Russell Westbrook who took what was a non-playoff basketball team at the beginning of the season and led them to the playoffs, registering 41 triple-doubles, doing something that has not been done in over 50 years since the late, since Oscar Robertson has done that. I recognize you can go different ways, but for his athletic achievement, his consistency, his athletic ability, and just his competitiveness, achieving a historical milestone with triple doubles, to me, it is counterintuitive if he's not named the most valuable player in the National Basketball Association.
And averaging a triple-double for the first time since the Big O. Coach, are you going a different direction?
Well, as you said, this is more important than any other show, the awards that we're giving tonight. So as a result of that, I agree with you. Those are the four guys you had to consider: LeBron James, Harden, Westbrook, and Kawhi Leonard. I created a new award to go along with the MVP. The new award is the BIP Award, okay? The BIP Award, yes, it's the Best Individual Performance Award, and that's Russell Westbrook. He deserves that. The triple doubles, the energy, getting his team into the playoff picture. However, the MVP award, to me, has a different meaning, and that's a guy who is asked to do it. We know this guy has been sensational, so he's a BIPper. He gets the first annual BIP Award.
Is that going to be named after, is that the Czar's BIP Award?
It could be. We could do that.
First annual.
We could do that, first annual. But having said that, the guy I'm giving it to is Kawhi Leonard, because this guy not only has to do it at the offensive end of the floor for San Antonio to win 61 games, but then he's asked to also be the best defensive player, and he does that at the other end of the floor. Some of the other guys that were in consideration for the MVP may not have had the same kind of years at the defensive end, but this guy does it every night at both ends. That's why he's my MVP.
I'll go ahead and refer the James Harden stands to each of your individual Twitters. They can go ahead and just shoot your comments right to these guys, because, like you said, these are the most important awards of the year for the Czar and Stu. We got to go, but we've got more game time coming up right after this.